appreciate the fact you've come on and reached out. We started this project as a little podcast about 2 months ago now. I think it's fair to say, being from the UK, we weren't quite expecting to have an MLB or former MLB pitcher reach out and get in contact with us, so we do really appreciate it. Baseball over here, not the biggest sport. It used to be bigger going back sort of 20, 30 years. There used to be games between Wales and England in the UK, but it's sort of faded for a little bit. Obviously, you're a massive fan of the sport. What makes it such a good sport and so loved over in America and Canada?
Yeah, like, it's not even the biggest sport in Canada, obviously, right? We have hockey, and like lacrosse is our number one sport. A lot of people don't know that, but yeah, baseball just kind of grew on you. You kind of stick to what you're good at, and I played a ton of soccer. I know you guys call it football, and I traveled the world, so I get it, so I'll call it football too, but that makes a lot more sense too than soccer, trust me. But yeah, I really enjoyed that as well. That was a lot of fun, and I love playing multiple sports. And then, you know, I'm 6'5" in height, which is almost 200 centimeters, right? So it's like I was destined to be a pitcher because they like height. You can't really coach height, and my throwing action came naturally, and things just kind of aligned to play baseball. I never could really stop when I skated. I was like a baby giraffe on ice. It was just really uncoordinated. And, you know, I come from a big family, and ice time's expensive. You need to rent the barn, and, you know, you're getting up at 5 in the morning to get out there and get your practice in because you're the little kids. And then, you know, the high school kids get after school, and they get all the quality ice time. So my parents said, baseball, all right. All you need is a little park, and it's at normal hours. So it really helped out.
What is it about height? I'm 6'4" myself, so I appreciate tall people. Now is a bit smaller. What is it about height that makes a good pitcher? Is it sort of the speed you can get behind the ball, or?
Well, it's the downward angle. So like when you stay tall and you bring your arm up and you come down with it, when it's crossing the plate, if you're short, it's crossing the plate flat. So yes, you can make it move and drop and stuff, but when you're tall, it's coming down like this. So it's already giving you the downward trajectory. So like to get under it and lift it up in the air is a little bit harder. And we release the ball a lot closer to the hitter.
True, yeah.
So they have less time to react.
You played all around the world, Scott, apart from the USA. Where would you say was the best place you played in? Or the best place you played?
For baseball or for travel?
Baseball, sorry.
Well,
baseball. Okay. So for baseball, playing in Asia was really cool. They have a whole different fan environment over there. It's very much like football games for you guys where the fans are singing cheer songs and the crowd's loud a lot of the time. And in North American baseball, that's not the case. It's, you know, you hit the ball and you hear the roar of the crowd, the hit. Like, you don't need that in Europe and in Asia. They're screaming already. They don't need something to happen to bring energy. They're energetic. They're singing fight songs for each player that's coming up to bat. They're cheering that player on. And then it just gets louder when stuff happens. So Asia was really unique in that aspect. It took a little getting used to figure out how to pitch with like loud screaming noises in your ear the entire time you're pitching, coming from America where it was pretty quiet when you're pitching. So it was cool.
You played for the Blue Jays. I have one of these amazingly in my possession from when my family went over there last year, and they went to a game against, I think, the Twins, if I'm not mistaken. How big is it in Toronto? How did you get? Are you from Toronto originally?
I'm from Vancouver, which is the west coast of Canada.
Yeah. So how did you end up playing for Toronto?
So Toronto is just one of the major league teams. The only one that happened to be in Canada, which is great for me because I'm Canadian. So when I got an opportunity to go try out for the minor league team, I made it. And from the minor league team, they sent me to New Hampshire. Do you know where that is?
I know, in Northeast America, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So in New Hampshire, they have a double A team. Do you know the rankings of the lower levels? Major League.
No, I'm not.
So it's Major League, Triple A, Double A, High A, and then they have a couple other lower A-level baseball where they're younger kids usually just getting drafted, learning how to, first of all, be away from home.
Yeah.
They're learning how to get 7 of them in a 2-bedroom apartment to go to the field every day and eat, instant noodles for dinner. Like, this is just, they're learning how, some of these kids are right out of high school, right? They don't even go to college.
Yeah.
So, I went to Double A in New Hampshire and did well there, and then they called me up to Triple A, and then I'm one call away from the big leagues in Triple A. I was in Syracuse, New York, which is the Triple A for the Blue Jays at the time. And then from there, I was consistent enough where the Blue Jays needed help from the big leagues, and they called me. So I was fortunate enough to be consistent. That's what they're looking for, not really like superstardom all the time. Yes, there's those players. It's not the norm. They're superstars for a reason. Everybody knows them for a reason, just like in football. There's these people that just handling a football, running, and it comes so natural and the game slows right down for them. There's other people that they're grinders and they got to work their tail off just to hang out and be the last person on the team. It's just the way it is, So, I was consistent enough. I consistently gave my team a chance to win on a regular basis, and that's the kind of outings that the managers up there and the people that make the decisions to bring you up are looking for. So I was fortunate.
There's a big sort of rise. American sports over here is becoming bigger and bigger every year. I mean, go back 10 years and I wouldn't say I knew anything about American sports, and now I profess to be a Chargers fan and all the rest of it, watching these American sports. Is it similar? Because is soccer's on the rise, I guess, in the States at the moment?
Yeah, they got they got MLS, and they're bringing over Zlatan, and they've had Rooney, and they had Beckham, and they bring these studs over from Europe to try to get it going over here, right?
Yeah.
So I see them working. There's definitely following. The city I'm in Arizona, Phoenix has a team called the Phoenix Rising. They're actually pretty good. I couldn't tell you who their import player is. I couldn't tell you how many imports the MLS team can have. I'm not sure what that number is. But yeah, I've heard it's doing great. And, because U.S. is so diverse, to have a football team in the city, it just brings a whole eclectic group of people that might not follow the baseball or whatever. Because the odds of us getting a cricket league are going to be pretty slim, Rugby is not even catching on very much. My dad's a Kiwi, so I grew up with rugby.
Have you been to the UK?
I have. I've been to London, and then I went there with my aunt and my sister, and she knew a friend in Brighton. So I went down to Brighton down there. Are you guys in Wales?
We're in Wales, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in Cardiff.
Yeah.
Never been over
so
here?
I've never been there. My wife's backpacked Europe, so she's done all that. I'd love to, Ireland, Wales, that whole wing right there would be just amazing.
If you ever come over here, we've got I was just talking to someone else. Perhaps the UK's best ice hockey team is in Cardiff. It's like New Jersey in the States. It's the Devils. It's fair to say almost the entire team is Canadian. But as you can imagine, they're better than a lot of the local boys. But there is one guy from Cardiff who plays in the team, so it's becoming bigger and bigger every year over here. The ice hockey. And you guys had that winter weather, so it could be something that possibly would be nice to catch on, right? Because what do you guys do in the winter for sports? I mean, our seasons work so we have football and rugby through the winter. So our soccer season is off in the summer. There's no football in the summer, which is
that comes into it then.
Yeah, that's when they have World Cups and stuff. So we don't have much sport in the summer. We have cricket.
You have baseball. You're trying to get baseball going, yeah.
Well, this is the thing. So we've had a team set up in the city, and we were speaking to them a couple of weeks ago, which is when I mentioned, which we'll get onto, that catch of yours when playing in China, and they're called the Merlins. They've called themselves in Cardiff, sort of a take on the Marlins in the States.
Yeah, It's fun. You can name your own team and call it whatever you want.
Well,
that sounds cool. Marlins, Merlins, yeah.
That catch you were playing in the Chinese league, was it?
So it's the league's in Taiwan.
Right.
And Taiwan doesn't really associate itself with China, but
Yeah.
China calls Taiwan its own, you know? So it's called the Chinese Professional Baseball League, CPBL. And I was playing for a team called the EDA Rhinos. It was a team that Manny Ramirez played for a few years earlier. Did you follow that at all? Or
Unfortunately, I can't say we
yeah,
have.
no, it's all right. So anyway, we ended up winning the championship that year. There's only 4 teams in the league, but the fans are really crazy and it's kind of loud. And back in the 80s, they had some kind of like mafia scandal, so they knocked down from 8 or 9 teams to 4, and then they're just so scared to add more teams because they think it'll get corrupt, which it will not. But no, it's a good league again. It's actually one of the only leagues playing right now.
Is it? Oh, is they still on? Is it?
And you guys are in a great time zone to actually not have to get up at 4 in the morning to watch the game, because it'd just be morning time for you. So if you want to learn baseball, you should go on like Fubon Guardian's Twitter. They post their games on their Twitter account. You can follow their games live on Twitter. Just click on it, and then you can watch their games. And like, they have English broadcasters. They're pretty horrific. It's not good. You guys could probably do a better job, really. I actually tried to call up my old team and tell them, hey, I'd come out and do your English broadcasting for you if you want, because it's one of the only leagues in the world playing, and you're going to have a whole bunch of English supporters trying to like watch any kind of sports.
Yeah.
You might want to like deliver it professionally, where somebody might have an idea of what the heck they're looking at, and not listen to somebody fumbling over what a ground ball to second base looks like.
So you'd suggest watching it, but perhaps on mute.
Yeah. But for you guys, because you're so new at baseball, the way that they talk about baseball might be easier for you guys to pick up because it's so elementary. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that catch which we referenced in our baseball episode, I still don't know why it comes to me whenever I think of baseball. It's where I always go in my head, a little corner of somewhere goes, I remember seeing this catch when I was younger on a video on social media, most likely. You said it was probably the best of your career, and it obviously...
Well, yeah, it's, I've played my whole life, and I know people that have played their whole lives, and I've never seen it catch anything like it, right? So I've been on the field thousands and thousands and thousands of innings. I've seen comebackers hit pitchers in the ribs and the ass, like hit them in the nose, hit them in the cup. Like pitchers get pelted all the time. We're the closest thing to the hitter, and we're not really prepared to field the ball. We're too busy throwing it. So you can get whacked pretty good if you're unlucky. And the ball comes off that bat pretty quick sometimes, so you don't have a lot of time to react. So it's just straight up block the face is what a lot of people try to do, just straight to the face. But no, that one was hit like a little bit off the end of the bat, which gave me a little bit of time. And because you're pitching, when you throw, you fall this way. So my only way to get it would be go like this, right? Like I can't go like this and then come back like this. So because your momentum's going this way, you just kind of keep the spin going, right? And I tried to swipe a couple before and missed, obviously, which is 99% of what people do when they swipe at balls, but happened to go in.
That one worked.
It just went in. I just call it like an educated guess. Like I tried to catch a couple before. I played my whole life. You know where your glove is. You have an idea where the ball is. Is the timing going to be there? You just don't know. And it ended up being there, so it was really cool. I probably won't see another catch like it, really. I've seen some, but a no-look behind the head.
Yeah.
Because the funny thing was, it looked like it was coming at your head, and then you're like ducking, and you snag it. So it's something to show the kids.
I bet the reaction was great with the team out there at the time to that, and the crowd, of course.
The funny thing is, because we were in Asia, I don't speak the language. I don't understand the sports channel. So like all the hype that it would have got, I had no idea. You know what I mean? I had friends emailing me, texting me, blowing me up on social media. Is this you? Nice catch! Wow! And then they're sending me clips of like, we have a thing called Sports Center over here. It's just like ESPN.
Yeah.
So it was the #1 play that day and that week for ESPN. So they were all sending me like, "This is you, isn't it? You're catching. Look at this. You made number one." So that was kind of cool. But if I was in America, if that would have happened in the big leagues, that would have been like people calling for interviews and things like that. It would have been a little bit more big. But over in Asia, it's just kind of like next day it was kind of out the window because I didn't understand anything that was going on.
Yeah, I mean, it reached Cardiff for sure because that's how I recall seeing it. So
Awesome.
it definitely went worldwide.
So after lockdown's done, me and Phil are thinking of playing baseball, giving it a go. So what advice would you give us, say newbies into sport, to help us, so for the first time, I suppose?
Yeah, first time. So it's a sport you have to throw, right? So to throw, whether fielding the ball is hard, yes, I get it. You practice fielding the ball because you have to get it. After they hit it, you have to get it before you can throw it to first to get the person out or whatever base you're trying to throw it to. So throwing is a big part of the game. Whether you're in the outfield, you're trying to throw it to the person closer to the base so that they can throw it to another base. Throwing is very accurate. You need to practice your throwing. You can't just, and it's like the ball just goes like this. You have to learn how to use your body to continuously do the same motion so that your release point can be the same all the time. Because when your release point's the same, then if you bounce it, okay, my release point's too low. Or if you throw it over their head, okay, my release point's too high. So how do I get it to that person, however far away they are from me? I have to find the release point that gets the ball on the trajectory to go and get them within this region so they can catch it.
And then obviously when pitching, there's, again, forgive my lack of knowledge for it, what are the types of ways you can pitch a ball?
So every pitcher is going to have a fastball.
Yeah.
It's a certain. Do I even have a baseball in here? That's just on my jerseys right there.
Is that one for every club you've played, or I imagine there's multiple?
Yeah, pretty much. Here's one you'll know.
It's the Blue Jays. Brilliant. Ah, that's great.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and back then, that's when they won 92, 93, right? Back-to-back World Series champs.
Oh, wow.
And then this is the jersey that I made that catch in.
That's amazing.
Did you have a number that you used to like wearing as a player?
Yeah, so the thing is here, when you get called up to the big leagues, they kind of pick your number for you.
Yeah.
And then that becomes your new favorite number. Because
What was
your
yours?
dream just came true, right? So
Yeah.
What was your number?
48.
48. So that would be your lucky number, you'd say.
So I kind of go with 40. And it's a cool number. It's not like 76,
Yeah.
Or baseball players, we don't have the high numbers. Kind of like soccer, or football, you guys don't have really high, ridiculous numbers.
No.
But if you go to Asia, there's guys that pick 87. And you're like, 87, that's your number? That's what's fun about the sport. It's kind of different all over. But I feel like football, no matter where you go in the world, unless somebody's mother, somebody died on July 6th, they might have 76 to honor their mother. You're right?
Yeah. In general, your team in a soccer game is going to be 1 to 11, or you'll get a few who are like 15, 16.
9 and 10, right? 10's the best player, 9's the second best.
Well, they're the people who are going to score the goals,
Okay.
more likely, yeah, in a game of soccer. But it's good to see that the sport's picking up over there, at least like some of the American sports are over here.
Yeah. So back to your question on pitches.
Oh yes.
So there's a fastball, which is a certain four-seam grip that when you release the ball, you get the best spin rate to go towards the plate, and it cuts the air the quickest, and it stays straight and accurate. Every single pitcher has a fastball. Your hardest pitch. Then you can throw another fastball where you turn the seams, and you can make the fastball go straight and then sink. It's called a sinker or a two-seamer. So sinker is going down. It gets a lot of ground balls, which is good because that's furthest thing away from a home run. And then a two-seamer just kind of runs like this. It has no sinking action. So those are and then there's the cut fastball, which goes this way. It's just a fastball that does a little bit of different. And some people's different arm angles when they throw it, because not everybody throws from right here. Some people throw from here. Some people throw from here. Some people come like this, and some, you know what I mean? It's like not everybody kicks a football the same way. You know what I mean? Some people have this little extra flair where they get a little extra curve to it. It's the same thing with throwing a baseball. So some people naturally just get this big run. So they're like, well, I'm going to use that because guys like me, I was very straight. I had to make it move. And then from there, usually you have a good off-speed pitch, which is a pitch that's usually quite a bit slower. So we do miles an hour over here. So like, we'll just call a fastball 95 miles an hour. And then that'll be what, like 150, 152 kilometers.
We do miles an hour as well.
Oh, great. I'm more in Asia. Great. So, yeah, so 95. So the change-up is usually supposed to be 10 miles an hour slower. So a change-up is like you get your main fingers, your pointer finger is your main finger, and your thumb, right? When you're throwing, these are like major strong fingers to throw the ball. So you take those and you put those on the side. Now you have the ball in these three fingers. And then you throw, and it rolls off. It rolls off, and you throw the same arm speed. That's the whole thing. You want to make it look like a fastball. You don't want to sit here and go.
The other thing I've always been fascinated with baseball, from a distance, obviously, is the sort of how complex stealing bases is. I remember watching a thing about it online about how each team and each player will have a whole list of signs and symbols to if they want to steal a base, and it's incredibly complicated.
So the hitters have signs on third base. The third base coach looks in the dugout. The dugout bench coach gives them like whatever kind of, say it's like last touch. So you can do all this. And the dugout coach, you don't see this, but the dugout coach goes like this. If he touches his right ear last, that might be steal.
Yeah.
So then that coach has to go, okay, say steal is, as soon as I go like this, it's like bunt, hit and run, steal, like leg or whatever. So he goes through all this. This means nothing, nothing, nothing. As soon as he goes like this, the hitter locks in and goes, okay, that's the indicator. And now whatever he touches after that tells him what he's trying to do. Tells him, okay, are you going to go, we're going here next? That means hit and run. That means the hitter's going to swing at the pitch. The hitter will swing at the pitch and try to hit it so that you can run to second base. So what that does is if the hitter tries to hit it and you're running, the defense now has to move around because things are happening.
Yeah.
So you can't just sit in your spot and be comfortable waiting for the ball. So when the runner runs, the second baseman goes to cover, then the hitter's trying to hit the ball where the second baseman was. Because if he can hit it through there, the hitter will be safe at first, and that runner who stole second is now going to run to third.
I think British people in general think baseball's a lot more simple than it is. I think a lot of people would just say it's just hit the ball and try and get around as quick as you can. And obviously, the more you know about the sport, the more you can say that's absolutely not the case.
It's a mental game, right? It's very mental. It's very failures a lot. Like a Hall of Fame hitter hits 300. That's 7 times they're getting out. 3 out of 10. 3 out of 10 hits, 3 out of 10 at bats, you're getting a hit. That is a Hall of Fame hitter.
Wow. So the odds are massively stacked against you as a batter or a hitter.
Negative sport. You have to stay positive. You have to do things, and you can have a bad game yourself and still contribute to give your team a chance to win because you're sacrificing your at bat to help move another runner to another base so that the guy behind you can possibly get the hit to bring that runner home because it's a team sport. You know what I mean? It's really complex. It's not the way I look at a baseball game. It's like the way you guys would look at a football game. For you guys starting out, I would make sure you have a cup on. Make sure you get a cup. Like you look online, you get a jock strap and you get a cup because when you're new and that ball's kicking up and it comes and hits you in the marbles, I'm telling you, you're not gonna love the game very much. So it's a big thing to continue to love the game is make sure you're protected there, and because then you won't be scared of the ball. If you're scared of the ball coming at you, it's going to be a little bit hard. You know, I just want to do everything. I want to do, a Man City game. Like these are things I want to do. Like I want to go over there and be amongst the bars and hang out and get in the environment, get in the atmosphere, and learn the songs, find some people to hang out with, and
Well,
just wear neutral colors.
If you're ever in Cardiff, we'll take you to a Devils game, and that's a promise. We'll go to the ice hockey over here.
Cool, man. Awesome. Good stuff. Good talking to you guys. Good
Brilliant.
luck.